praise, and power. Welcome to another Moment of Harmony, a big series that it has umbrellaed so many different mini series or mini courses in it, all in the name of healing, of growing, of becoming, of spiritual holistic health and balance. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Harmony Davis Brown, affectionately known by those in the community that I worked in for many years as Mama Harmony. I am a community advocate. I am a spiritualist. I am a healer and an educator. And I am so blessed to be able to share such a platform with all of you. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome into a moment of harmony, protecting our moments, growing our moments, feeding our moments, creating our moments, loving every moment, no matter what, having unconditional love for the moments in our life. That's what we're doing here today. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We are in a 23-week declaration series. We have come out of an affirmation series. We came out of a matter of moment series. Our declaration series was 25 weeks. I'm sorry, our affirmation series was 25 weeks. That's how we got kind of started off to a degree. And then we had a matter of moments, which was a 32-week series. And now we're switching it around. We're in a 23-week series for 2023. So we're in a 23-week series entitled a declaration series. So we affirmed ourselves, we created our moments, and now we are declaring ourselves in each moment of our lives as a way, right? So 23-week declaration series. We are on the third week. Aren't we moving? We started out in February, so February is moving. And we're in our third week, and our third week is entitled, I declare myself courageous in my becoming. This is the declaration. We are touching and agreeing. We did a whole praise break in between before we got to this declaration series, and we touched and agreed over 2023. So week number 3, we are declaring ourselves through this year, through this time frame. We are declaring ourselves courageous in our becoming. I am courageous in my becoming. We're going to break that down today into 3 different places, right? 3 different avenues of being courageous. And a lot of times when we think about being courageous, we think about, pushing through and adversarial energy or aesthetic times, hard. We just like, standing up, fighting back, doing the impossible, doing the scary. And we're not far. Divine Rising's beautiful. Thank you. Yes, it's a victorious day. Ashe. We're not veering far from that definition, but we are going to just dive. We're going to explore some perspectives when it comes to this. So today we're going to talk about being courageous. I declare myself courageous in my becoming. Not just being courageous for the sake of having that characteristic quality, but I'm being courageous in who I'm becoming, the woman I'm becoming, the man I'm becoming, the family we're becoming, the marriage we're becoming. But in the becoming, I am going to, courage should always be a part of growth and development. But aside from growing and developing, I'm becoming something. I am moving from level to level in my divinity. And as I become, what they say, new levels, new devils, right? As I grow, more is going to come. As I grow, I'll gain. And as I'll grow, I will get. So I'll gain beautiful and wonderful things, but I also get opposition. And I also will get shade and hate and doubt. So my thing is like, look, we need courage in our becoming. So we're going to talk about being courageous through fear, being courageous in responsibility, and being courageous in spite of. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Okay. We are all here because we have declared to ourselves that simply existing in this life is not what we came here for. Simply sitting up in here and taking up space and air and breathing, experiencing, what the indulgences, meaning just I'm hungry and I eat and I like to hang out and we are all here because we understand there's something bigger and deeper to us. There's something bigger and deeper to this thing called life. There's something bigger and deeper to our individual purposes and especially our collective harmony. So if I'm going to declare that, I need to be able to obtain that. And we cannot get to that if we are going to give up, right? If we aren't going to fight for, stand for, seek for, learn for, we're not becoming anything. Y'all know that I'm a mother of many. I'm also a doula. And I always am using my birth analogies. And I'm saying that one thing is that in becoming a baby in utero, becoming a whole human being goes through so many transitions, rapid transitions. They don't catch a break. They don't, like, from the time of conception, implantation, until the time of actual birth, this baby is becoming instant by instant. It's not trimester by trimester. A baby can be the size of a poppy seed 1 week and 2 weeks later be the size of a grape, or a week later be the size of a lemon, a week later be the size of a grapefruit. We're talking about rapid growth and becoming. And becoming works that way for us. No, we're not in utero in such a way, but the womb, the world is our placenta. If you are tuned in to your purpose for being here and you are committed to your growth and your becoming, then the world is your placenta. You are, your lifeline becomes your spirituality, right? Your umbilical cord becomes the creator. So the world becomes my placenta, my umbilical cord becomes the creator, and the universe becomes the body in which I'm growing in. Okay? Universe, the body, the woman, this I'm growing inside of, the body of it all. The world is my placenta. And my umbilical cord becomes the creator. This is my attachment to everything. My love force, my energy, my connection to everything. And I'm saying that just as that newborn baby is growing rapidly, constantly, in order to become, at the end of those, really they say 9 months, it's like 10 months, y'all. At the end of those 10 months, this little person comes out that did not exist 10 months ago. And this little person didn't just was made in love, because because we have to make love, right? We make love in order to create those, blessed enough to create life in love, in order to create that life. So we were made in love, we were made in love. And then from that time period that we were implanted, that means that the time that we were created, there is an implantation of purpose, of beingness, your DNA all encapsulated, who you're going to be, what you're going to look like, what gender you're going to be. All of that is inside of that little embryo implantation that no one can see until later. There are going to be things about you that have always been about you if you stay in the consistent flow of growth. There will be revelations made and things coming to they do the gender reveal at the beginning of the baby's ashe. They did hi beautiful. They did they'll do a gender reveal at the middle of the pregnancy, but the baby has always been its gender. Right? They may be able to see as the baby progresses later in different ultrasounds who the baby looks like, but the baby has always had its features. It is becoming what it was already destined to be. Its blueprint is laid. So I'm saying that just like that rapid growth, that constant growth, any of us that tune into life in such a way, any of us that understand the world is the placenta, the universe is the body, the umbilical cord is the creator, we understand that we are in constant growth and development. We are becoming. And then one day, when the water breaks, okay, that's very important. One day when the water breaks, because a lot of us, when we're talking about courage, remember that today's session is I declare myself courageous in becoming. Because a lot of us, when the water breaks, is when we break, is when we're done, is when we give up. And speaking metaphorically, but also realistically, when the baby, again, when that baby is about to come, that is kind of when the woman is like, I'm done. I've gone as far as I can go. I can't do this anymore. But what's happening when things are breaking is that you're coming through. You're coming through. You're no longer making it. You're no longer creating. You're coming through. The new you is coming out. You're having a breakthrough. If your water is breaking right now in your life, I mean, all hell is breaking loose. You were just walking around in one life. You've been breathing. You've been coping. You've been keeping it together. You've been battling one little situation at a time, one little contraction at a time. And then all of a sudden, it all breaks. You feel like you just can't take any more pressure. You can't take one more mistake, one more mishap, one more moment of chaos, one more mishap. You just can't take one more tragedy or trauma. You just sitting there like I'm breaking. I want to say that if you're at that moment, the water has broken. The water has broken. Where you were in the condition and the position you were in before is changing. If your water is breaking, it's making way for you to come through. It's making way for the new you. A woman's water doesn't break until the baby is developed, until the baby has grown as much as it can grow and gotten as much as it needs to get from inside of the body. Once you've gotten everything you need to get out of that lesson, once you have grown as much as you possibly can in that season, the water is going to break. The water it's all going to break and it's going to clear away. What we had called a tower moment. What feels like the end. What feels like the worst. What feels like no, not again. What feels like I can't really becomes the moment that the old you has completely become the new you, and it has making way for you to come through. A lot of us are asking for new lives, new realities, new experiences, new existences. We're saying like, I need to be who I feel I should be. Things that used to work for me don't work for me. Things that I desired were no longer around me. I'm seeking, I'm finding, I'm exploring, I'm becoming. And a lot of us think we're just going to make up our minds to become, that we might go through a little bit of trial and error, a little bit of conditioning, and then we'll be. No, a breakthrough has to happen. But the breakthrough shouldn't break you. A lot of us get stuck there. We let our breakthrough break us. No, everything is falling apart. Everything. Every time I make some leeway, I get pulled back. Every time I get hope, something, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong. You're growing. You're growing. You're becoming. Every time I make a sacrifice, every time I try something, the breakthrough is not meant to break you. It's making way for you. The breakthrough shouldn't break you. It should make you. The breakthrough shouldn't break you. It should make you. It's the purpose of it. It's making way. That tower moment in your life, all is crumbling so that you rise, so that you come out, because there's things in your way that you've been breaking down in your becoming that now are falling all apart so that you can become. You're not going to just wake up and say, I've been doing my prayers and my meditation, and I've been journaling, and I've been doing community work, and I've been in sister circles, and I've been fasting, and I've been cleansing my spirit, and I've been purging, and now look at your girl. Don't we all wish it was just that beautiful, right? No C-section in becoming here. And even I say that loosely because as a doula, I know that the C-section mamas go through a lot. Okay, this is just with the analogy. You're not going to get cut out of the season. I know that's like really hard to hear, right? Because you're like, I just been in this season for so long and I'm just sitting here with my hands up like I learned, I got it, I'm ready. And you think that you're going to get surgical cut, precisely surgered. The surgeon is going to cut a precise little cute little circle, bring you on out. You're doing all that work and still the labor of your incoming is going to happen. You just have to know what it is that's taking place in your life. And that's where the courage comes in, right? This is where we get to the courage in becoming. We need consistency in becoming. We need faith in becoming. We need hope in becoming. We need strength in becoming. We need love in becoming. But I'm going to tell you about the piece that you're going to need as much as you need love and as much as you need strength, as much as you need discipline, as much as you need focus in becoming. You need courage. You need the courage to become. That when you're in your breakthrough, you need the courage to stand strong. You need the courage to absorb. You need the courage to endure. You need the courage to stand, to fight back, to believe. I want all of you to understand that belief is an act of courage. Believing when you're in pain, when you're against all odds. See, a baby that's coming into the world has never come into the world before. Not that we know of, everyone has their theories. But in the physical scientific form of today, a baby that comes through the birth canal out of the woman's body has never come into the world before. So you're talking about something that's going from one big space, growing, becoming, being nurtured. This is our meditation, y'all. This is our yoga. This is our purging. This is our journaling. This is all our incense and our good food and our healthy. This is all the stuff that feels good about becoming. The baby is in the placenta in a bigger space, just the growing, being rubbed on, being talked to, being nurtured. And then all of a sudden, when they feel like they've gotten all big and grown, they got ears now and a nose now and hair now and they can move now and they feel like they've become something. Life comes in to show them, oh, you thought you had become when you got your eyes and your ears and your nose and you could hear and you could respond. Oh, no, 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 no. You still have to go through the birth canal. You still going to have to, your tower moment is coming. You're going to have to break through to your breakthrough that shouldn't break you, but make you. You still have to become this person that can breathe with lungs on the other side. On the other side of your creation, on the other side of your becoming. I know you think you're done in this season. But I'm telling you that before you're truly done, you're going to labor through, you're going to come out on the other side. Now, a baby that is being given birth to has never come into the world before, has only known this womb, has only known this placenta and this umbilical cord, is about to come through a canal less than half the size of where it grew. Guys, your breakthrough moment is nowhere near as comfortable. It is nowhere near as familiar. It is nowhere near as operational as where you were incubated, where you grew. You grew in the season. Come on, because I'm with a lot of people who think their seasons are over, who want their seasons to be over, who are tired of being in a season. You grew. You learned, you were nurtured, you became, but guess what? You are not reborn yet until you are reborn. You have to come through. So that breakthrough moment, like, oh, I did everything I was supposed to do. I gave up everything I needed to give up. I listened, I focused. Come on through that birth canal, right? So this baby that is now, like, what's happening? The water broke. Remember we talked about that earlier. All hell has broken loose. Everything that I was wrapped up in, everything that I felt comfortable in, everything that I was familiar in, it is broke. It is gone. It's really literally around me. The water is breaking. Guess what that might feel like? What would that feel like if you live in a bag of water? You live in your nutrients, you're comforted by your life, and then the water breaks. All hell, this is all hell breaking loose. Does that start to feel like what's happening? Okay. Does that start to feel like I can't breathe? I'm losing. It's leaving. What happened? You're thinking that you're running out of life when really you are about to come into a new existence of your life. And what you're familiar with, you think it's going to look like. You've imagined, you've fantasized. This baby that has lost the water around it, that is no longer floating in this comfy little space, it's now having to restrict itself, contort itself, move itself through a birth canal that is less than half the size of the space that they lived in, and they got to get pushed through. The reason why vaginal birth is so beneficial to babies, and I understand that everyone cannot, excuse me, mommy mercy, y'all. I understand that everyone cannot do that for one reason or another. Doula here, got it. I'm talking specifically, scientifically, and for this analogy. The reason why a baby coming through the vaginal canal is so necessary is because when that baby goes from that old place of living and it starts to get pushed through a smaller space, it gets drained. Right? The baby, it pushes because the baby is squeezing through a small space. It's pushing out excess material, liquids, nutrients, things that the baby will not need. Listen, people, things that a baby needed in the womb that it won't need in the world get pushed out in the birth canal. Things that, so sometimes we get caught up on what we need to let go of because of what it was, because of what it did. Give it honor and continue through your journey. Give it respect and continue through your journey. Oh, I can't let this go because this person and this homeboy and this marriage and this friendship and this thing, this school, these classmates, these co-workers, I came up with them and we went through this together and we went through that together. There's a reason for the canal. When that baby is going through the birth canal, there are things that it needed at one time that will not serve it in the new time. And why is that? Because the baby will breathe differently than it will breathe. You have a whole new mission in your becoming. Your creator will demand of you, will deem it necessary for you to speak differently, for you to know differently, for you to behave differently. In your becoming, you will not be who you were. You will not operate how you operated. Therefore, you do not need what you had. You will not need all of what you had in one environment. If you keep it in the new environment, you can't do what it is you need to do. So I can't think of what the name is called, but there's a C-section babies born by C-section. My C-section mamas out there can know if they've experienced it, where the baby might have to go to the ICU once it's born because it didn't go through the vaginal birth canal, that it was cut straight out of its season. It did not go through the pressure point, and it does not know that it's been born. So it's not breathing. It's not taking breaths. It's not trying. It has gone from point A to point C without the necessary process. And it doesn't know that you need to, it's still kind of in utero. It hasn't gone. See, the birth canal is an awakening process. It is a shaking, shattering process. You're going to realize quickly when you start to go through your breakthrough that you are not in Kansas anymore. If you bypass, because there's a lot of us that are like, why? This is where the courage comes in. Why? Why me? Why am I experiencing this? I'm a good person. Why am I going through this? Your canal is necessary. If I just hand you the blessings, you won't understand how to maintain these blessings. You won't gain what it is I need you to get to these blessings. You won't be structured. You won't be pressed into the new being in order to obtain and maintain these blessings. So there are babies who don't go through the birth canal, that have slight conditions. They need some types of medication because the vaginal canal did not press out the unnecessary for their new journey. They might even still have fluid on their lungs because they didn't get pressed through, because now your lungs will be needed to breathe where you did not need to breathe before. I'm saying that I want us to understand that courage. So when that baby is going through that birth canal and it's in a place it's never been in before, and it's a painful place. Look, labor and delivery does not just hurt for the mother. That baby is pushing its whole being through a small space, and it wasn't there before. And it too goes through stress. You can see when they come out, their heads, they've been through it. They're tired. They're crying. They needing to get wrapped up. They looking around like what just happened there too. I'm saying that process and what happens with that baby is at some point that baby has to come to the conclusion that it does not know what's happening. But it is not retracting from what's happening. That birth canal, it starts to drop. They start to go through. There's a point where that baby has to understand to a degree, this is not what I did yesterday or nothing I've ever done before. These feelings, because the mother is in stress. That's why they have all the monitors on her. She's in a different place than she's been the whole pregnancy. It's all different. And it all feels like all hell is breaking loose. It all feels like things are going all wrong. But what's happening is that you're actually coming out and everything is going all right. It's just that what you imagined right to look like, what you imagined your breakthrough moment to look like. See, we have in our mind the victory moment. Right? The moment that we get the trophy. We have in our mind the victory moment, the moment that we get our accolades, the moment that we're just as shiny and pristine on the other side. But before, right? Before every rescue mission, whenever someone was rescued, stuck out in the wilderness, stuck in the desert or an ocean somewhere, and they're surviving and they're surviving and they're surviving and they're surviving. The victory moment is when they reach land, when they see that helicopter, when the ambulance comes. But guess what they're doing? They're sitting there. They see that help is coming. They pass out. they can finally stop fighting because someone is there to help. But the victory moment is not when they're all cleaned up, healed up 6 months later telling their story. Your actual breakthrough moment is when you realize you survived or becoming. You survived long enough and strong enough to where you're on the other side. I'm on the other side. I'm on the other side. I still got to be cleaned off. I still got to get checked up. I still got to, because I went through a lot. I still got to check in with myself. Who am I now? But the breakthrough part was a part of that becoming. The breakthrough part was a part. And there is a whole, that whole section, it takes courage. Courage is an act of divinity. So we have courage and fear. Courage and fear is when you don't know what's going to happen, or you do know what's going to happen. You are the unknown. I don't even know who I want. I say I want to grow and I want to become. There's so many times we've gotten to a point where we say, I don't know where I'm going. I don't even know what I want. Might not even know who to pray to, go to, be with. I just don't want this anymore. That's an act of courage. That is courage in the fear of the unknown. Courage in the fear of frustration, right? Because sometimes you can be so hurt and just like, I don't know I'm afraid of who I am right now. I'm afraid of what's happening to me in my life right now. I'm having courage in the fear of losing, fear of being left out, fear of the doubt that comes with fear. You can have courage. Courage, I declare myself courageous in becoming. When I am becoming, there will be fear. There is that moment when all that was surrounding me drains from around me. And I have a lot less of what I had. And I am not in the same environment. I realized very quickly that what I was using to breathe won't help me breathe right now. I realized very quickly that what I was comfortable with and what I was used to was changing very quickly and rapidly. It was no longer. It was no longer. Fear, my panic, my anxiety began to start. Well, I can't do this job anymore, but what will happen to my children? What will happen to my bills and my resources, my finances? What will happen? I know that this group is now this church, this college, this organization, this institution. I know I went from growing in it to being grounded under it, to being buried in it. How do I? The fear, the what now fear, the what if fear, the I know fear, the actual attacks. Look, when you begin to become, and people around you do not want you to become, people are afraid of your becoming. Attacks, actual attacks. And we're not talking all theoretically and what's happening around you spiritually. We're talking about physical attacks of character, physical sabotage, discouragement. All of those things will come through. The thing is, you having the fear of hurting someone else, look, when you look yourself in the mirror and you realize that it's time for you to become, everyone may not have had that moment yet, but when you get to that point where you're like, it's time for me, you see yourself in the same mirror in the same house for 15, 20 years. And one day you look in the mirror and you realize you've outgrown the house. It didn't grow with you. You're looking in the same mirror, but the lighting is not what you need anymore. And there's fear. There's so much fear that comes with that realization that it's time to change. It's time to go. It's time to grow. It's time to focus. It's time to sacrifice. It's time to compromise. It's like anxiety hits. All this anxiety hits. And that is the fear. That is the courage in the fear. The courage of I don't know where I'm going, but I do know where I've been, and I know that's not for me anymore. That's courage. The courage of I don't know what the next step is, but I heard from the Creator. I received clarity in prayer. I received a sign as I asked, and I know this ain't that no more. Y'all, it's painful. It's painful when you begin to be in denial about the things that are going on in your life. It's painful when you just want to hold on to what was when you know it's not that anymore. It can be a very painful reality, and it can cause all the fear. What if I'm making the wrong choice? What if it's just but then it becomes undeniable to you. The Creator will not rest up on your lesson. There will be no rest for your resurrection. If the Creator is resurrecting you, it won't be seasonal that you're feeling what you're feeling. You won't be able to shake it. You won't be able to get up off of it. It won't leave you alone. It won't give you a break, because the Creator is saying, this is not a lesson. This is a breakthrough. There is a difference. If I just wanted you to learn how to talk better, I will put you in a little bit of a season. If I wanted you to be more patient, I put you in a season. If I wanted you to just realize how to appreciate this person, I'm going to put you in a season. But when it's time for you to move, I'm going to put you in a breakthrough. And in that breakthrough, you're going to need courage in your fear. Your fear of giving up, your fear of failure, your fear of judgment, your fear of a loneliness, your fear of starting over, your fear of trying, your fears of rejection, your fears of pain, your fears of discomfort. You have to have courage in your fear. There is a time when that baby is coming down the birth canal. It does not know what's happening. It is different. It is painful. It is uncomfortable. It is constant. Contractions are back to back. Y'all know that when a person is being born, the contractions come closer, 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 closer. I'm not catching a break. I can't catch a break. What do you want from me? I want you to become. I want you to have courage in your becoming. And then this is a breakthrough. And then next thing you know, you break through. It is a breakthrough. Not meant to break you, but to make you. Feels like breaking. Feels so painful. So painful. Feels so conflictual. Feels so brutal. Feels so abusive. You're going from one space to a tiny space, but look what you come out on the other side of a whole world. You come out in a whole world. You have a use of lungs, things you didn't have use of before because of what you went through to get where you are now. I'm saying courage and the fear of what's happening. Courage and the fear of losing. Courage and the fear of changing. Courage and the fear of the unfamiliar. Courage and the fear of the uncomfortable. Oh, it's all like maybe I should back up. Maybe I should stop. Maybe I should. This is more painful than I thought it was going to be. This is more scary than I thought. I got this threat and I got this attack and I have this worry and I have this feeling. And it was worse than I thought it was going to be. Guess what? You're still becoming. Forgive me. You still have to have courage in your fear. The courage is this is the best time for the courage. It's easy to have courage when you know what's happening, you know where you're going, and you know you have full support and you'll land on your feet. I easily jump out of an airplane, not myself, but a person can easily jump out of an airplane with a parachute on. It takes some courage, but you know you're going to land. For the most part, you got on an apparatus that keeps you safe. I'm talking about jumping out, having faith to land on your feet without the parachute. That's a different type of courage. Without a promise of a tomorrow, without the necessary concrete etched in stone outcome in your face. That takes courage. Have courage through your fear and your becoming. And then we need courage and the responsibility. Excuse me. For those of you that are in a place of understanding that you are growing, those of you that are understanding that you are becoming someone different, you understand that there's a different responsibility on yourself. There was a time in your life where you depended on others and you did not have as much responsibility for yourself. You depended on someone else to think for you, rearrange for you, move for you. Something, some entity, something. You depended on someone else to eat or live. But as you begin to grow and mature, you have more dependence on yourself. What happens when you depend more on yourself? You have more responsibility. Something else is less responsible for your life, for your being, for your surviving, for your happiness. And when you have that much responsibility for yourself, making your own decisions, making the choices for what works for you, seeking self-validation, self-assurance, growing for yourself, creating for yourself an avenue to grow. When you have that going on, Y'all, my throat was itching so much. I think I just talked too much. At work, y'all, I talk all day at work. I literally have to talk to clients all day long. And then I come here and talk on the weekends. I swear my body just be like, girl, be quiet. Be quiet. But because all the crazy stuff starts happening. But when you have that type of a pressure on yourself, responsibility. I am responsible for my own actions. Yeah, I know this person did touch me, hurt me, lie to me, betray me, use me. I know that this circumstance didn't value me. I know there's reasons for the way that I feel the way that I feel. I know there's reason for my traumas and my triggers and my pains, but I'm saying over the reasons, there's responsibility. I take responsibility for myself. That's a big thing. How I act, how I react, what I do, what I take care of, I take responsibility for myself. There's a lot of courage that comes with that. Because you have to have a certain amount of divinity and maturity in you that says, this person did violate me. This person did abandon me. This person did hurt me, but I'm responsible for my end goal. I'm responsible for this peace of my mind. I'm responsible for the weight of my heart. Y'all know how much courage it takes to give your heart to other people and you still be responsible for the weight of it? I gave my heart to this. I gave my heart to him. I gave my heart to her. I gave my heart to this circumstance, this purpose, right? This mission. I gave my heart, but I'm the only one responsible for the weight of it. If I get up in there, my heart is heavier than a feather. This is my ad. I get up in there, my heart is heavier than a feather. I am responsible for that. No one wants to hear about my mama and my daddy and my auntie and my first boyfriend and my last boyfriend and my first husband and my children. And have the courage to be responsible for yourself. Have the courage to be responsible for your words and your thoughts and your actions and what you manifest. Man, I knew this was going to happen. Every time I such and such, this is going to happen. Every time I try to do something better, it go wrong. I shouldn't even try. I want to see your courage and your responsibility. You know what, Creator? What is it that you need from me? I might have lapsed in judgment. I might have had a lapse in character. I might have fallen short in your expectations for me. I might have a pattern that I'm still clearing myself through. Did some crazy things in a better place, but I'm still going through that pattern. I need to have the courage in my becoming. I need to have courage in my becoming to have responsibility of self. Of self. Well, you made me and you made me. Listen. What a lot of people see as betrayal. A lot of people see as damning you as a horrible person or judging you or, whatever. People want to put things on you, but they don't know that you walking away from something that was killing you was courage. That was responsibility. That was having courage in your responsibility for self. I know you're taking it personal that I couldn't take this job anymore. I know you're taking it personal that I can't be as close to you anymore. I know you're taking it. But what it was is that I finally found the courage. Yes, it hurts and it is painful and it is conflicting. I sometimes feel like, should I go back to old ways? But what I understand is that I'm having courage and being responsible for myself. Because I can stay where everyone's happy except for me. And then when my heart gets weighed, guess who that's on? That's on me. I can stay where everyone's being served except for me. But then my heart, the weight of my heart is going to be on me. I can stay where everyone is benefiting, everyone is being paid, everyone is being loved, everyone is growing, everyone is having what they need except for me. But the weight of my heart is only going to be on me. So I have a responsibility. It's not about you. It's about my responsibility to myself. I have a responsibility to myself to be my best self. I have a responsibility to myself to have the most absolute amazing life I can muster. Peace, beloved. I miss you so much. I have a responsibility to myself. I have a responsibility to myself to have all of the laughter and joy and accomplishments. I have a responsibility to myself to become. And there takes courage. What you think I did in malice, what you think I did in cold heartedness, what you think I did selfishly was really my responsibility to self. See, a lot of people look at your responsibility to self very differently than you will because they've been used, remember, the baby in the womb, before the baby exits and comes, they've been used to you in one environment. They don't know that you're becoming, just like you didn't know that you were becoming. And when your water broke and all hell broke loose, they saw what they saw. Listen, when a woman's water breaks, Ashe, it looks like one way from the outside. And everybody who's had their water break, or who have been around a woman whose water has broken, it looks like the water broke from the outside. But guess what? It looks very differently from the inside. Because mind you, the water that's breaking from the inside is coming from around a person. So we see the water coming down her leg and her pants. We see the wet seat or the wet floor. And we have one perspective of her water breaking. And we might feel some type of way about that perspective. Oh, you got it on my seats. Oh, are you okay? Oh, I'm scared it's happening. Whatever your feeling comes up about it. But guess what? It's a whole different perspective for the person that was living in the water. It's a whole different perspective and feeling for the person that was surviving in the water. The person that has spent 10 months becoming in the water. When I took responsibility and I became courageous in responsibility for myself, it looked differently for you than it felt for me. I was becoming. I was honoring my birth. I was honoring the process of becoming. And I want you to know that I took responsibility for myself. That was nothing against you. There's always this argument, and I had to deal with it when I first started walking. They would say that the Black Panthers or any civil rights movement or any group of individuals that were pro-Black, they were always saying, okay, we all anti-white. And the thing was like, why I got to be anti-you to be pro-me? That have nothing to... Being pro-me means I'm just focused on me. I'm just proud of me. I'm just working on me. I'm just growing me. It has nothing. Your arrogance has nothing to do with you. And I'm saying that taking responsibility, sometimes people will take it very personal. They'll take it very personally because of how their connection was to you, that you had the courage to one day be responsible for the weight of your own heart. I can keep I can keep saying, oh, my mother, my father, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my sibling, my child. I can keep singing that song all day long, all life long. But when the Creator weighs my heart, that part, I have to find the courage. Oh, well, I got a plan and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I'm thinking, have the courage. Have the courage to be responsible for yourself. Have the courage to look into your own dreams. Have the courage to look into your own desires. Have the courage to look into your mission, into your tomorrow. Have the courage to stop and have a very honest conversation with yourself. I have to have the courage. I have trauma bonds that are going to hurt me to break. I have trauma bonds that are actually going to make me feel anxious and insecure to break. I have patterns and things that I would go to in order to keep myself together before I was responsible for myself. before I learned to validate myself, before I learned to self-soothe, before I learned to medicate from the inside, I would go to these outside resources. I would go to these outside people. And it took courage to be responsible for my own healing, for my own smile. Y'all, I don't know how many single people on the call, but what I'm saying is it takes a lot of courage to be responsible for your own smile. That takes some real strength. It takes a lot of courage to be responsible for your own truth. You know how many times we deny our own truth because it doesn't match someone else's reality, someone else's perspective. We let someone talk us out of our own truth, out of what we're experiencing. Well, you might be experiencing that, but let me tell you what I experienced. I am going to take some courage in this moment to be responsible for myself. I can't be that way when it comes to me. Responsible for this job and the longevity and all my family members that worked it before me. I have to at some point find the courage in my becoming. I have to find the courage in my becoming to be responsible for myself. Courage and responsibility. So we had courage and fear, courage and responsibility, and then we're going to get ready to get up out of here on this last one. Courage in spite. This is a big one, guys, because a lot of us very courageous in talk. We're very courageous around when we're inspired and motivated. You know what I'm going to do? I'm not, no more. I'm not doing this no more. I'm not taking that no more. I'm not dealing with that anymore. But oh, when them obstacles start hitting us, like, oh, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see the retaliation. I didn't see the sabotage. I didn't see the defamation of character. I didn't see the doubt. I didn't see the pain. I didn't see the memories. I didn't see all that when I declared I was going to be courageous. I started beating on my chest probably a little too early because now I'm getting whooped. I'm getting whooped with the reality. I'm getting whipped with guilt. I'm getting whipped with shame. I'm getting whipped with regret. I'm getting whipped. I'm getting whipped by my becoming. And I'm feeling like, I don't know if I should have been becoming. I'm with courage in spite of. Courage in spite of what is in your face. Ashe. Courage in spite of what is around you. Courage in spite of what you see. Courage in spite of what you see and feel. There's in spite of. We can have courage through fear. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's happening. I was afraid. Then we can have courage. You know, we can have all the courage we need in the responsibility of, I got to stand up for myself. I got to be there for myself. But courage in spite of is a different thing. Courage in spite of is being tied up and beat in the moment and still saying, I'm moving towards my tomorrow. Courage in spite of is Kunta Kinte versus Toby. Okay, that's in spite of. Whipping me. Open my back. I can talk a lot about courage. I can declare myself courageous in becoming. That's today's declaration. I declare myself courageous in becoming. And that sounds so powerful. And I've been saging and I've been praying. And I'm all about like, I'm courageous. I told him no. I said no. I can't go. I don't want to be there. Put myself first. I self-cared myself today. That's a whole nother level of courage I'm talking about. I'm talking about courage when everyone has turned their back on you to continue to move forward within yourself. I'm talking about courage when you don't know where your next meal is coming from, your next hug is coming from, your next friend is coming from. You don't know who you can trust and who you can't trust. Courage in spite of. That is a major part of becoming. Listen, when that baby comes out of the womb, out of the uterus, through the birth canal, the third process is on the outside. That's the final part of labor, when the baby is born. That baby does not know where the hell it is. Brand new space, a world. Its whole existence has been inside of a womb, inside of a woman's abdominal area for 10 months. Then it went through this crazy ASS breakthrough. Forgive my, y'all know what? It went through this crazy birth canal. Like what? It was painful and it was brutal. And then it comes out in the most unfamiliar environment it could come out in. It's doing things it has never done before, could never do before. It can breathe with lungs. It can eat on a boob. It spent 10 months in one environment, breathing and eating a whole nother way. I'm saying this baby comes into a world of newness that is cold, that is bright, that is like, wait a minute. And in spite of that, acclimates. In spite of having your courage, in spite of, I declare myself courageous in becoming. Oh, we have all these beautiful thoughts about becoming someone new, becoming, someone greater, someone deeper, someone lovable, someone more in tune. Oh, I feel that I'm in tune with the universe. You'll be able to do things that you weren't able to do. Listen, when you are becoming, you'll be able to see things you weren't able to see before. You'll be able to hear things you weren't able to hear before. You'll be able to feel things you weren't able to feel before. And guess what? When you can see, hear, and feel things that you couldn't at one point, that is more painful. See, people thinks that this is kingdom come close this door, please, mommy mercy. People think that when you become and you get all these superpowers, right? And becoming one with the universe and becoming in tune, people think you are like all where this is just a light glows around you. You just float through life. I see more, hear more, know more. I am exposed to more. I hurt more. I am revealed more. I am abandoned more. I am judged more. I am having a lot more hurt in a lot more ways. And I'm saying that I'm still having my courage in spite of. Beautiful, close that door for me, please. Sorry about that. Mommy mercy. Hey, they don't have no care. No cares. Mommy mercy. In spite of. Courage in spite of. Guys. We will back up from becoming when we're right on the other side. We don't even know that we've become. But because it hurts so much, and because it's so new, and because it's so unfamiliar, and because it's so different, we ready to go back. And I'm trying to tell you that, no, have the courage right in the middle. Well, actually, have that courage and the becoming. Have that courage right at that breakthrough. Have that courage in spite of. In spite of what's being said. In spite of what's being revealed. In spite of what's being taunting. You know, when you're becoming, people will taunt you. They will bribe you. They will seduce you. They will, well, especially adversarial energy. You can all, if you just go back the way you were. Come back, move backwards a little bit. You know that. You're familiar with that. You're good with that. Don't go. What if you go forward? You get your heart broken. What if you go forward? People don't like you. What if you go forward and you fail? What if you try to become someone else and it's totally different and you got to deal with a whole new person? Everybody treats you different. In spite of. In spite of the whooping. Y'all, because becoming is a whooping. In spite of the whooping you're taking. In spite of the distractions that are being thrown at you, in spite of the discouragement that you're being dunked into, in spite of the fear that you're being engulfed in spite of the most courageous courage of them all. Yet, and though I sit in pain and despair and confusion, I will not give up on seeking the truth. As a matter of fact, the crazier it gets, Should have never messed with me. The crazier it gets, the more I will seek the truth. The more deceptive it gets, the cloudier it gets, the uglier it gets. I'm talking courage. We can say that. We can say that until it gets so ugly, we just like what? We submit. We submit to the overall arching energy. I'm saying the courage it takes to say, look, in spite of me in my lonely old little space, I'm moving forward. I'm moving forward. In spite of the creator called me, look, y'all, in 2022, the creator called me completely out of my old life that was not serving me in so many ways, that was allowing me to serve others more than I was serving myself, and was not allowing me to become who the creator has destined and ordained me to become. Things I was tethered to and deeply in love with. Creator called me out of it. Had a tragedy happen to me over the weekend. Such a tragedy. Bringing up familiar patterns and thoughts. And I said, I'm sitting in my tragedy by myself, because when the creator called me out my old life, I don't have the water around me is gone. I don't have the nutrients, the umbilical cord isn't doing what it used to do. I don't have any of that anymore. And I sat up there with my old lonely self, and I wrapped up in my, can't get through my sleep. And I realized there was a time that was like, look at you. Look at you. You're so busy becoming. And here comes a test. And you feeling broken down in this test. And you feel like you're not going to make this test. I thought you were becoming. And I said, you know what? I am. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to stay true to myself. If Mike can't eat, Mike can't sleep, Mike can't move. But what I'm not going to do is give up my courage to move forward in my seeking of self and truth and becoming. And I woke up the next day in my new life that I wouldn't have woke up in if I had not had courage in becoming. And still, I'm still going to have to be. It ain't going nowhere. I'm saying in our declaration, I declare myself courageous in my becoming. It is a big thing. The next time you face something that you want to fall back on, the next time you want to fall into an unhealthy habit, the next time you want to doubt yourself and give up on your progress, the next time you want to just move away from who you are and what the creator keeps having you dream about, think about, feel about, see about, and you want to just back on up, I want you to stand strong in your declaration. 2023, I declare myself courageous in my becoming. It means that I am human and I am going to hurt and I am going to desire and I am going to need. But if I want to get to my divinity, the human in me cannot overweigh the divine levels I'm being called to. So my temptations and my fears and those things that make me a whole human being human cannot outweigh my seeking of becoming. Because what I'll become is a more divine being if I stay in my divine lane. And I'm saying I declare myself courageous in my becoming. Courageous through fear, right? Courageous in responsibility for self, and courageous in spite of all the hell breaking loose to deter you from moving forward. You are almost there. And I swear the closer you get, the uglier it's going to get. But if you believe and you declare your courage, you will win. You will come out on this as a whole new, brand new, spanking new, great new person. Great new, elevated being that went through the fire, but came out, what Marvin Sapp say, I'd have been through the fire, but I don't smell like smoke. Only one way to do that. Only one way to do that. I love you all so very much. Thank you for joining me for this moment. I will see you next Saturday for another Moment of Harmony, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. I always mess the saying up at the end. Lord willing and the creek don't rise. There you go. That's my mama saying. Lord willing and the creek don't rise. I'll be here on Saturday at 10. Y'all have a wonderful week and protect your moments.